What's up, CT?
Hey.
Hey, I got you on. You're live right now on air, so we're gonna.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
what up?
So we're just waiting on Mike. Mike said start the clock. I was like, I already did.
So, can people hear us already?
They can hear us already.
Oh, snap. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Good morning. So we got a lot to talk about today. We got to talk about the Feds raiding P. Diddy. Damn.
I forgot about that.
I get Cat Williams tried to tell everybody.
He said, all the truth is going to come out in 2024.
Yep. The truth is coming out. Oh, hold on. I got to get Mike. I got to get Mike.
Waiting 4 seconds, like a 44-second shot clock right now.
All right. Mike's in the building. Barely made it.
Woo! You started this clock early.
No, right at 10.
What's up, San Antonio? What's up, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio, West Bexar County, also represented. We're getting started a little bit early. Normally, we start around 10:15 a.m., but today it is 10 a.m. We're getting going early because our special guest, it is Tuesday. You know what that means? It is Tuesdays with T. Carolina Teague joining us right now. What's going on, CT?
What's up, y'all? Good morning.
So, CT, we lots to get into today. I know you only have 15 or 20 minutes with us. We have to get into the enigma that is Jeremy Sochan. Sochan last night with a big game, knocking down the game-winning three-pointer with less than 30 seconds to go. And it's so funny because I was on the sidelines yesterday as people on Spurs Twitter were going at each other about Sochan. Those saying, yeah, that's the Sochan we want to see. And others are saying, but there's other things going on underneath the surface. So we have to get into that. Joe and I will also be getting into P. Diddy getting raided by the feds. His home in LA and Miami raided. P. Diddy now in the Caribbean right now. That guy might be in trouble. Crazy story coming out of Baltimore, by the way. I don't know if you saw that bridge collapse that was over there. Absolutely insane. We have lots to get into.
Hey, we also got video on TMZ with Vince Young getting knocked the fuck out during a bar fight. Yeah, bro.
Man, that's
wild.
VY, baby, VY. But lots to get into. CT, how you doing this morning, girl?
I'm barely rolling out of bed. You know, I'm super busy, but I love my Tuesdays with tea with you guys. And man, I'm excited to get the day started. Let's go.
And Carolina Teague, you can catch her on Twitter /X at CT the Mike Slayer. She's also the GM over at RCW Wrestling. Does a fantastic job doing what she does over there.
She does general manager for
Mission City. I'm sorry, RCW. She does the announcing for. My bad. I apologize for that. But last night the Spurs came out with a win that no one was expecting. Okay, no one was expecting it because there was no Victor Wembanyama, and the Spurs had just played this team a couple of days before and got their asses handed to them here at the Frost Bank Center. Last night, the Spurs go out there, take on the Phoenix Suns. Heroics from Jeremy Sochan. Jeremy Sochan knocking down a three-pointer with less than 30 seconds to go to win the game. He had a big night. Someone had to step up offensively in the absence of Victor Wembanyama.
So no roses for Jeremy Sochan?
Well, you know what? It's kind of a weird thing. We have to give him more roses than poke holes in the game. Right, we have to give him roses.
I mean, the wins have not been coming lately, you know?
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to rain on a parade whenever you only have 16 wins on the season and still on track for the worst record in Spurs franchise history.
And should I remind you?
But last night, Jeremy Sochan stepped up. He stepped up last night. 10 of 19 shooting, 26 points, 18 rebounds. Again, no Victor Wembanyama. He was the hero last night, Jeremy Sochan, big game. And I have to give him some flowers, right? You want to see a guy knock down a three like that. How big do you think that is, Carolina, for the confidence level of a Jeremy Sochan to not only get the big shot, but also to knock down that game winner.
He said he's going to believe in himself every single time. And he did that just for you, Jimenez. You're one of his biggest haters out there. You always have something to say about him that criticize him. And now, what now, Jimenez? What now? He hit the game-winning 3, clutch. Where are we at? He did that just for you. Seriously.
Yeah, remember, Carolina,
now,
Mike signed the Jeremy Sochan apology form. I got it right here.
So let's.
You signed. Oh, you signed that?
He did. I have his autograph.
Never mind.
Let's talk about this.
But still, I don't care. What now, Jimenez? What
you
now?
know, it's so funny because there was an argument going on Twitter last night about Jeremy Sochan, and I avoided this conflict because I wanted to give him his flowers, right? But one of the things that they mentioned was, yeah, Jeremy Sochan hit that clutch 3-point shot, yada yada, and then someone responded back with, you do realize he has missed 16 in a row prior to that shot, and that he is shooting now 31%, has a lower shooting percentage and a lower effective field goal shooting percentage compared to last year.
You know what I would have
cooled down, but
I would have said, man.
But last night, 10 of 19 shooting from 2-point land, 9 of 12, 75% from 2, 1 of 7 from 3. But he got that one when it was needed. And that's the enigma of Jeremy Sochan. You get these games. You get probably about 10 a year now where he looks the part. And then you've got about, you know what's going to end up happening? He's going to have 2 or 3 bad games from the rest of the week because that's who he is.
You know what? No.
That's who he is. That's who he is. He's 1 good game, 1 average game, and 2 bad games. Repeat. That is what he does.
Let's give him his credit for this game.
I will.
We barely gave him props like 10 seconds. Let's just marinate in the fact that he had the game-winning 3 last night. He's been criticized because he can't hit threes. He's been criticized because he can't shoot jumpers. He's been criticized because not so good on the offense. Well, when it counted the most yesterday, without Victor Wembanyama, that is when it counted. So we need to marinate we can't just give him 1 rose, which is what you're trying to give him.
Well, no,
look at the series.
You want to give him his flowers. You got to give him a bouquet.
Look at what
Matt
Lerma put up here.
Yeah,
Mike. Look at what Matt put up here on the chat.
Yeah. Won the season series 3-1, and probably should have been 4-0 because there was that game. It was in late October, early November that they blew against the Suns. I was at that game. Sochan last night again, 26 points. But the detractors, and I'm not saying that I was one last night. I stayed out of the fray, CT. But you go back and go, well, what did he do the game before that? 7 points. The game before that, 6. Then against the Nets, 4. You know, it's just you get 1 good game. I take that back. You get 1 really good game. And then you get 2 or 3 bad games thereafter. And it's kind of a pattern that we have here because we've seen Jeremy Sochan do a fantastic job sometimes, lock down defenders. And that's the enigma of it, is that, you know, Joe and I have gone to games before where we look and we see a ball out. And then we've gone to games where we look at Sochan's play. We think to ourselves, he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's the same guy on the same week. It's so strange. That's the thing.
We need to give a shout out to Gert. Gert is telling us right now, Gert Vanderkrift from the Netherlands. He says that he's supporting CT. Plus, his mom will be undergoing surgery today to remove a gallstone. So, shout out to you.
Oh,
Gert.
Shout out to your mom. I mean, I know how painful that is. My mom had the gallstone removed. It was super painful. So, wishing your mom all the best. And thank you, Garrett. I really appreciate you.
Garrett, thank you for the super chat there. I had my gallbladder removed a couple of years ago because of gallstones and kidney stones and whatnot. So that is a very painful experience. But going back to the Spurs last night, Jeremy Sochan is a fun player to watch. Defensively, he can bring it from time to time. And that's the weird thing. You don't know what Jeremy Sochan you're going to get out there. Offensively, is he going to give you 28 points or is he going to give you 5? Defensively, is someone going to go off on him or is he going to clamp somebody down? There's no such thing with Jeremy Sochan as an average game. He's either bringing it or he's wetting the bed. And it's just so funny. I find that to be bizarre. And the optimism of the glass being half full is we see what it's like whenever he's on. And last night, the biggest thing for me was not the fact that he made the 3-pointer to win the game. It was the 18 boards. That was the big thing for me last night. Spurs last night also protected the ball, only one turnover in the first quarter. Whole game, just 7. When was the last time, CT, we saw a Spurs team with just 7 turnovers? That's why they won the game last night.
Yeah, when they eliminate turnovers, they usually have good results as a result of that. So for me, I also like the last time they played without Victor Wembanyama, they lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
And I like seeing how they play without him, because getting wins without Wemby is also important too, because he's supposed to be the star of the team, and they're able to get wins without him. It just speaks volumes that they are growing. There is some growth there, and they couldn't get it done the last time Wemby was out. This time they got it done, and it was a big moment for Jeremy, and I think he needed that as a confidence booster because of the criticism that he gets, and perhaps not necessarily the criticism he receives, but maybe the inconsistency that people like to point out in regards to how he plays. So I think this was necessary for him, his confidence. And, maybe Wemby being on the team is also a factor as to why he can't really score as much as he'd like on those given nights. But when Wemby was out, he really stepped up, and this is a big moment for him. So I'm really happy.
Now, what I liked about that 3-point shot that he knocked down to win the game was that it was in stride. He didn't hesitate. He shot. And I think that that's the best we see of Jeremy Sochan, is when he's doing things instinctively, as opposed to it being a set play. He's a very good player when things are just kind of chaotic. You see that when they run plays for him, or when it seems to be a design set, he doesn't seem to go with the flow very well when it comes to it. But last night, again, 18 boards, also had 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Played some pretty decent defense out there. Devin Vassell, man, pickpocketed Kevin Durant late in the game.
Got those cookies.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. 26 points as well for Devin Vassell. Zach Collins grew a pair yesterday, 18 points and 5 boards.
You want to talk about somebody who has one good game and a ton of bad ones?
Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, that's it. We saw Zach Collins throw down an emphatic dunk yesterday, when this is a guy that usually tries to lay it up.
Yeah,
he's 7'1", and he's laying up shots. Dunk the damn ball. And he did it yesterday. 5 rebounds along with 3 assists. Julian Champagny out there getting cardio like always. Trey Jones, just 2 points in 27 minutes. But again, the Spurs managed to get going. The important thing that we got out of this, though, was that someone stepped up offensively in the absence of Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama out with an injury. Wemby needs to play 2 more games in order to qualify for the awards. I hope he plays 2 more games and then shut his ass down for the year. It's not needed anymore. Spurs going on and now winning their 16th game of the year, 16-56 in the season, 9-27 at home. CT, when you look at the last 10 games of the season, that's all that's left. Is there anything you want to take away from that? Is there anything the Spurs should throw up against the wall to see if it sticks?
That's a good question. What should they throw up against the wall to see if it sticks? I don't know. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Maybe have Keldon, I know they had him coming off the bench a lot. Maybe see how Keldon is being back as a starter, consistently. I think that would be a good experiment to try, see if Keldon is able to handle that. You're not able to handle that role.
Bring
but
Jeremy off the bench.
Yeah, and bring that too. I mean, there's things that I think that they could experiment with. But for the most part, I think we've seen a lot of what we need to see.
Yeah,
to be quite honest with you. We're pretty much done.
We know who those guys are, right? Kellen Johnson last night, 14 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Keldon was very excited, very animated on the court there. But the Spurs winning without Wemby is a big deal. They beat a team that should be making it into the playoffs or play-in tournament. It's weird right now being a Spurs fan, because the one thing that we look forward to is the lottery, right? Well, with that win, the Spurs are now a game and a half away of falling out of the number 3 spot. For those of you who don't know, or may need a refresher course here, the bottom 3 in the order of record, the bottom 3 have the best chances of getting the number 1 overall pick. Spurs were bottom 3 last year. That 14% pick happened, and we got Victor Wembanyama in the lottery. Right now, the Spurs are the 3rd worst record, but Charlotte's losing game after game after game, have lost 5 in a row. Right behind them, Portland's lost 7 in a row. Right behind them, Toronto, who has a top 6 protected pick that we're supposed to have. Toronto's lost 11 in a row. And now it's looking more and more like the Spurs might not get that first round pick this year from Toronto. That might need to go into next year's draft, 2025. Lots going on right now in the last 10 games of the season. But again, people might think that I'm going to crap on Jeremy Sochan. I'm not going to crap on him too badly, because last night, how can you crap on a performance like that? How can you crap on a pretty decent game defensively? The question is, the last 10 games of the season, can we show some consistency from him game in and game out? That's going to be the big thing about him.
Hey, I just wanted to do a quick shout out here to CT to somebody who's been watching us for a while, and his name is John Williams. He's telling us that he starts radiation this Friday. He's in stage 3 colon cancer. He says, say a prayer for me. We'll be praying for you, brother.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say a prayer for you. I have my cousin's husband actually just beat stage 4 colon cancer recently, so it is possible to beat colon cancer. So just keep your spirits very positive, and just his advice, because I had asked him, his advice was to just make sure you're following the doctor's orders, eat right, and drink a lot of water, and just stay positive, have a positive mindset. You'll be fine.
Yeah, prayer is up to you, my man. Prayer is up to you. We'll say a prayer for you and hope that everything comes out well, and have that faith and confidence that things go well. Going back to the Spurs real fast, Noah Pettis is reaching out to us saying, I don't get why everyone is key on getting a high draft pick this year. All the experts are saying it's a weak draft, so why not trade that pick to get a star next to Wemby? It's because everyone else knows that it's a weak draft as well. And in fact, I am not very optimistic about this draft at all. I was up until about 2 months ago, when all the star players got hurt, and then all the inconsistency. Zachary Risachet came back down to earth. We saw the two guys, Reed Shepherd and Dillingham from Kentucky, just completely suck in the tournament. Right, and they weren't that good in the SEC tournament either. You take a look around, and there might only be 2 or 3 pretty decent players in this draft. The Spurs next year could have as many as 5 first-round draft picks next year.
That's wild, man.
We have our own, an unprotected pick from the Atlanta Hawks, a top 10 protected pick from the Chicago Bulls, potentially, if it doesn't convey this year, a top 6 protected pick from the Toronto Raptors, and a top 14 protected pick from the Charlotte Hornets. Unreal that the Spurs could have 5. Legitimately, we'll probably have 3 next year.
Yeah. Hey, before we let CT go, we got to get into some of this discussion about P. Diddy. I got to ask you, Carolina, when you heard the news that the feds had raided Sean P. Diddy Combs' homes, what did you think?
I mean, I knew this was coming after the Cassie lawsuit. I don't know if y'all read the Cassie lawsuit, all 33 pages. It's disturbing. And then also, too, a gentleman got locked up because of his confession on Vlad TV about how Diddy hired him to kill Tupac. So he got arrested for murder. So between those charges, plus the charges that Cassie alleged against him, it was only a matter of time where the FBI was going to investigate him. And obviously they know more than we know because they raided his stuff. So, I mean, whatever is done in the dark always comes to the light. So we'll see what happens.
And you even saw his sons in handcuffs. And now you hear that P. Diddy is doing an O.J. Simpson. Instead of being in the white Bronco, he's in a plane in the sky.
Yeah, people are tracking him down to the Caribbean,
Antigua, or something like that.
I saw those memes say P. Diddy F them kids.
Yeah, man.
His kids are getting arrested.
Did you see the video of him from TMZ where he's just pacing around the airport parking lot?
Oh yeah, he looked stressed. He looked stressed out. Yeah, stressed. I mean, I don't blame him.
He's at customs, and the thing is that he has no charges on him. He's still under investigation. So he's been investigated for sex trafficking, under investigation for assaults, for coercion, for things like that.
Firearms.
Yeah.
It seems like the guy's into a whole bunch of shady stuff, And
there have been multiple women who have stepped forward saying that he raped them, coming out and saying that allegedly that he had raped them, saying that he had forced them to perform sex acts on other people while he watched, while he pleasured himself while watching. Things like that. Some of the allegations out there are pretty wild.
Wow, man, they're
he
crazy.
did settle with one of them within 24 hours. I think that was a Cassie.
Yeah.
CT.
That was
Yep.
definitely Cassie. Yeah, the other ones he denied, but I mean, men are nasty. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, if you really feel like sometimes the things that come out of men's mouths, sometimes not just, and I'm not comparing y'all to Diddy. I'm just saying like men are nasty in general. And imagine having like the money and the power and the fame to be able to do whatever you want. Like the deepest, darkest things can occur sometimes, and not even just with him, with like the Nickelodeon people. That story made me sick to my stomach.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I had to compare nastiness, it definitely the Nickelodeon guys over P Diddy. And yeah, Diddy is an alleged scumbag, but not as big as the Nickelodeon guys. They need to arrest those mofos first before they arrest Diddy, for sure.
I think there's special places in hell for both of them, man. If this is true against P Diddy, but people always ask the question, well, why didn't these women say something to begin with? It's because they're fearful, because these people have millions and millions and millions of dollars to go track them down, and also they could ruin their careers, their dreams and things like that.
Or he could send people to, kind of like scare them, intimidate,
or even knock off. I mean, who's to say that P Diddy wasn't involved in, Biggie's shooting? I mean, that's been the allegation for many years.
I got into a serious debate with somebody that I know personally really closely about why don't women report sooner, or even men report sooner, that they've been sexually assaulted, like for example Drake Bell or whatever the case may be. And I think people who ask those questions, you've never been sexually assaulted, because if you've been sexually assaulted, the fear that these people have over you and the power they have over you, even if they don't necessarily have a lot of money and have a lot of power, even if they're like a family member, or if they're a teacher or anything of that nature, they can intimidate you and they can scare you. So, I mean, even with at my son's school, it was all over the news. They arrested a teacher, a male teacher, for touching one of the little 9-year-old girls here at my son's school. And it was all over the news. And there were, I spoke to a parent who's a friend of mine, and she was saying that, it almost happened to her daughter as well in the classroom. And when she reported him, he gave a speech to the whole class. He would look at her really ugly, and he was saying, if you do say bad things about people, you're going to get your karma. This is a 40-year-old man telling a 9-year-old little girl that she's going to get her karma and bad things are going to happen to her, and he's staring her down, and this is her teacher. Like, these people are scared for their lives, these victims. So I don't understand how it doesn't make sense to people. But I mean, I suggest before, if you're asking in a genuine way, perhaps, but if you're doing it to be condescending, I would highly suggest you educate yourself on why victims are scared to come out if they've been sexually assaulted.
And think about this as well. You mentioned Drake Bell. Drake Bell at the time was a teenager.
Yeah,
there was a grown ass man. You might know this actor, Terry Crews, Crews, right? So Terry Crews, who was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a very, 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 very muscular man, African American man, right? He was also sexually assaulted as well by a powerful executive within Hollywood. He got groped and things like that, and he came forward and told his story about his reactions to that and his fear of all that. And this is a big ass man. This is a guy who is a former professional athlete, for crying out loud. And it happens, and it's because the people who are perpetrating this are the ones that are not the biggest. They're the ones with the most power. And it's one of those things where, who's going to believe you? Me. There used to be a time when it was no one's going to believe you. But right around 2018, that Me Too movement came around, and people started to believe the victims.
Yeah, look at what happened with that guy Weinstein,
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that guy. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll always have a question about the Spurs when it comes to what happened with Joshua Primo, because Dr. Hillary Cawthon
it was swept under the rug, essentially.
Yeah. And I've always had an issue with that, because as a Spurs fan, you can't tell me that Brian Wright, R.C. Buford, or Pop didn't know what the hell was going on. You can't tell me that. It's too big of a deal within that organization.
Brian Wright knew,
but the NDAs, Brian Wright, and nothing happened, because that's the thing about the NDA. Just sweep it under the rug. Some shady shit happened there at the Frostbank Center involving the Spurs and involving Joshua Primo because they valued Joshua Primo, a lottery pick that they took a reach on, more than they did this woman's accusation. And that's why they settled so quickly.
Well, we don't know, their side, right? So I think it's important to make sure we get both sides of the story. They never spoke their side. They were just ready to settle.
Because it's the People's Republic of
Yeah,
China over there, man. They're never going to say anything about anything. We're not going to know any sign about anything about the Spurs ever. It is a vault, and the reason is because the local media here is not as powerful as the media in New York or LA. That shit wouldn't have flown in LA. That shit wouldn't have flown in New York.
Somebody find out something. Man.
But local media ain't going to go out and go out on a limb against Pop.
Well, I didn't necessarily go against Pop, but I was the only person in the locker room that particular time who pushed back because he was saying, I have no response to that. And I thought it was really alarming that Pop was speaking out against the Primo thing, and it wasn't Brian. I thought it should have been Brian Wright, maybe RC Buford, maybe somebody besides Pop, because I felt like it should have been somebody above Pop to answer these questions. Pop was thrown to the fire, and he was just like, it was a room packed full of reporters, and everybody asked Pop, what are your thoughts? Or I think it was Tom Orsborn from the Express News asked him a few questions, and he said he can't answer it. Nobody pushed back. Everybody started talking about the game that day. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is like one of the worst seasons ever. Nobody gives a crap about the game. So, and then I stood up and I asked Pop, what were your emotions behind this? I'm trying to get something else out of this. He said he wouldn't answer that. And just that simple pushback got a lot of traction on social media because a lot of women were commenting like, you were the only person who pushed back. You were the only person who continued to question. And it was a little bit discouraging that a room full of reporters in a big, huge case that's hitting all over national news, and nobody's pushing back on these answers. We know they're not going to say anything, but you still want to ask all the possible questions in order to get an answer. And it's just hurtful that nobody did anything, but they obviously settled. And, we don't know the details of whatever happened. I don't think we'll ever know.
And the reason is, CT, is because you're the woman in the room and it hits you different. In a room full of 50 reporters in there and they're all dudes, they don't get it. I would understand it because I'm a girl dad.
Yeah.
Right. I have life experience of having a 20-year-old daughter. If something ever happened to her, I would lose my mind. Yeah. Right. And because of that, it's just a bunch of dudes in a room who don't know how to ask the question because it doesn't affect them very well. It's not that they don't know that it's wrong. It's just, it's not front of mind. It's like they have to be educated in such. And so when you're hearing all this, you're perceiving this from the female perspective, the female point of view. I'll never know what it's like to be a woman, but I do know what it's like to be the father of one.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the understanding of that. The whole thing about the Spurs with Joshua Primo, like you said, we'll never know. And it stinks to high heaven, man, because I know that the people who we respect and all that, I know they knew it all. And I know that they swept it under the rug. And when the Spurs cut that check, they cut it real fast. You want to show guilt? There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it shows. I don't think it shows guilt. I just think it shows that they don't want it to go public. So whatever happened, however it settled, we'll never know. But I do want to say that I know you spoke about Terry Crews, and you were talking about me as a woman. But a lot of men are afraid to also say they've been sexually assaulted. Like you said, Terry Crews was belittled for coming out and saying he was. Yeah. Joey Lawrence from Blossom, the dude guy. Yeah. Whoa, the whoa guy. Yeah, that guy. He said that he was the only person who had Terry Crews back. He recently came out on a podcast and he said that what's even more crazier about sexual assault is that men tend to get ridiculed when they're sexually assaulted, so they don't want to come out. So he was like, I'm going to sit here and have Terry Crews back because I had a very powerful director in Hollywood have me go to his hotel for a meeting, and I thought it was a meeting for a role. And he said, if you remove your clothes and do XYZ to me sexually, then I will give you the role as the next superhero in the next Marvel blockbuster film that we have. And he refused to do it, and his agent cut him. Because he said, no, he's not going to sleep with this male director in order to get a Super Marvel comic book hero movie role. And in my mind, I was kind of like, well, which one of the superheroes did it? Because somebody had to do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it happens to men too, and men are also afraid. So I feel like just because I'm a woman and I'm in that room and I'm asking those questions, it shouldn't just be a woman too. It should be a man. It should be a man who has possibly been sexually assaulted. It should be a man who's done research on sexual assault. It could be you don't have to be a woman to ask the women questions. You could be somebody who just wants to get to the bottom of things, and that's your job as a reporter to be able to do that.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're going to do to kind of transition here, because we want to showcase everything that you're going to be doing this weekend. You are going to be a part of the panel that's actually going to be, let's say, covering, or let's say you're going to be ringside with some of the other prominent people in the media calling a boxing match this weekend that's going to be happening, I believe, Saturday at the Techport Arena. You want to let the listeners know about that?
Yeah, so this Saturday, I'm going to be calling my first fight. I'm going to be on the commentary team with myself, Hector Ledesma, and two-time world boxing champion Jesse James Leija Jr. We're going to be at the table calling an incredible night of fights at the Techport Arena in San Antonio. This Saturday, the weigh-ins are on Friday at Smoke Barbecue. Yeah,
oh no, the meet and greet was the 28th. The weigh-ins are the 29th. Yeah.
Yeah, the weigh-ins are the 29th. The meet and greet is the 28th. They're gonna have like free stuff, free shots of alcohol Thursday and Friday throughout those events. They're gonna be giving away prizes, tickets, and Freddie Roach is gonna be there as well. And Saturday, Desi did allude to an interview I had with him yesterday. It's coming out today. He did say that you might see some celebrity boxers, see some celebrity basketball players there at the event. I don't know who's supposed to be there.
I know Keldon likes boxing. Keldon Johnson.
Yeah, he does like boxing. I don't know if he's going to be there or not. I'm not, his best friend to confirm that. But I do know that they do anticipate people being out there, so it's going to be really fun. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be calling a fight alongside a boxing legend and one of the best reporters in San Antonio, Hector Ledesma. So I'm just really excited. And I'm really grateful to be doing that. I've been trying to crack boxing for a long time, and it's finally been cracked.
In our own backyard too, right?
Right here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
That is badass.
Hey, I look forward to seeing you out there because, I'll be out there covering it as a member of the media with our boy, Big Papi. Brandon Medina, and maybe even Mike Jimenez might be able to go with us too. We're going to confirm that.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if y'all can confirm it, that'd be great. I'd love to see you guys out there. And honestly, I'm so excited that you guys are supporting. And it's going to be Gylan too. Gylan's going to be.
Gylan Jackson.
Gylan's a big. Yeah, my producer Gylan Jackson's a big name. In regards to behind the scenes of what's going on to that particular fight, but. I'm just really proud of him and Hector and all the people that are there. And I'm really thankful that you guys are coming out to support. So it means a lot.
Yeah, I know you're going to have to probably get going here because you got things to do. So we appreciate your time with us here, CT.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys this Saturday.
Yeah,
and you can follow CT on Twitter, X at CT the Mike Slayer. Also, don't forget to subscribe to her YouTube show.
She's the host of
A League of Her Own.
Yeah.
A League of Her Own podcast weekly on YouTube. So, CT, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
So, Joe, I learned of a guy yesterday named Jonte Porter. Who the hell is Jonte Porter?
The hell is that?
Have you heard of this guy?
I've never heard of this dude.
Jonte Porter has been in the NBA for 2 seasons, right? He's kind of came out of Missouri, played 1 season, went to the G League, came back. Jonte Porter is in the middle of a controversy right now in the NBA due to betting irregularities on prop bets. So apparently the story goes that DraftKings noticed that there was some weird activity involving Jonte Porter and his prop bets, things that they had not seen all year long. The story basically goes that you know what a prop bet is, right? So a prop bet is you're betting whether a player is going to score a certain number of points, get a certain number of rebounds, number of blocks, or a combination thereof. And they noticed that people were hitting Jonte Porter pretty hard, trying to get $20,000 bets on his props, when normally the maximum that you get on a prop bet is around $1,000. Maybe some sites would be $2,000, but they noticed that there was a lot of movement on Jonte Porter. And he's saying that there was nothing wrong, right? But there were 2 games, one in January and one earlier this month, that now being investigated right now by the NBA because somebody put money, big money, on the under of his prop bets. Both of those games happened. Well, again, one in January, one in March. And according to ESPN.com, Jonte Porter suffered a quote-unquote injury early in the game, and the unders actually happened. One, he said he hurt his ankle. One time he said he hurt his eye. And the unders were hit because people were betting the under on Jonte Porter, and it was the highest paying prop bet of the entire night. Think about the NBA and all the players that you could bet on the NBA, whether it be Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, or whatever. The most profitable prop bets those 2 nights were Jonte Porter, a guy that averages 4 points, three rebounds, and 2 assists. So think about that. Think about how Jonte Porter and all the gambling accusations are going on right now in the NBA, in Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani,
Yeah,
his interpreter, that is some crazy stuff right there.
that's a lot of money too.
There was a video shown that I saw yesterday of Ohtani at a college basketball game. And the tide was turning during a game, and they said, this guy has no rooting interest in this game. Why is he so angry looking at the turn of events of the game? And they're asking the question, is he betting on this? But
I look at there. John Williams says Jonte's brother plays for the Nuggets.
that's interesting. That's interesting. But there's a lot going on right now, and I hated to think about this, but gambling. We talk about the script all the time, whether things are done in a certain way.
Yeah.
Now, the gambling scandals go all the way back to the Black Sox of 1919, right? Back in over 100 years ago. And, you had Shoeless Joe Jackson and those guys, they were banned from baseball. Famously, in the 80s, you had Pete Rose banned from baseball, the all-time hits leader. And you had Tim Donaghy, the NBA official, about 15 years ago, racketeering charges and all that for throwing games. He wasn't throwing games, but he was, maybe not calling it correctly in order for certain spreads to happen. As he said, he could affect the game 5 or 6 points each night. He couldn't determine necessarily somebody's going to win, but he can affect 5 or 6 points, which is enough for someone to make a tease or win a wager. But right now, the relationship that you're seeing with gambling being embraced by professional sports, and now you're seeing these players get popped for betting on games, maybe not betting on games of their own sport, but they're betting on games of other sports.
Yeah, they are.
You now see teams in Las Vegas. Las Vegas now has an NHL team. They will soon have an NBA team. They already have a WNBA team. They have ours.
Yeah.
The Silver Stars are over there as the Aces. They have the Raiders now over there. They're going to have the Oakland A's out there. Now you're seeing the NBA, Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball and the NFL embrace FanDuel, embrace DraftKings.
That's what I was going to say.
I've gone to games in Arizona where you walk into an arena and you can bet on games while there.
That's wild.
This is getting a little bit too much, man. And now the temptation's there. Because, whether it's just simply, it used to be, okay, well, there's some goon who was a bookie. I mentioned the other day how I had a bookie back in the day.
Come to the newsroom.
God. Pay out, pick up money.
Can you give me 20? I'm good for it.
Yeah. But now it's being done electronically.
Yeah.
And dude, if Shohei Ohtani is found to be guilty of this, this would be the biggest story of the decade.
And he's the highest paid player right now in the MLB.
He's the best player in the MLB because of what he does on the mound and what he does on the field and what he does at the plate. There's a lot going on right now when it comes to this. And I didn't want to believe it, Joe. I didn't want to believe it. But when I see the story about some guy named Jonte Porter, who I had never heard of before in my entire life, and you just tell me that his prop bets are the highest paying ones, there's something wrong, man.
Something's amiss.
There's something wrong. And would it be to think about a player throwing a game?
Yeah.
I mean, well, think about this. The 2 times that his prop bets hit the highest gross amount, he just magically got hurt and all the unders hit. There's something there, man.
Hey, you know what? You don't hear a lot of that in the NFL, right? Not to this extent, but I bet you that's going to change here, because I'm sure there's players in all major league sports that are doing this type of thing.
Yeah.
They just don't get caught, you know?
Noah says on our stream, it's crazy because every sports podcast I listen to is now sponsored by DraftKings.
Exactly.
And it is awful. And if anyone is listening from DraftKings right now, we would appreciate your sponsorship. Jonte Porter, baby. But Otani say that it was his interpreter who embezzled money, right? And bet on it.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But they looked all buddy a week ago.
Yeah, until he got caught.
Yeah, until he got caught. Meantime, Bruno Mars is down $50 million there in Las Vegas. Dude, I thought I was bad. Because I was on my third envelope there in Vegas. But man, how can you be so stupid? How can somebody be making so much money? Jonte Porter is an NBA player probably making the minimum.
Still a millionaire.
And doing this.
Hey, man, cocaine's a powerful drug.
Gilbert Padilla reaches out to us and says, I'm okay with players betting on other sports, but it's a slippery slope. I think if a player bets on their sport, they should be suspended for several years minimum or maybe banned. I still don't know. I mean, that's what happened to Pete Rose. Pete Rose famously said that he did bet on games. The weird thing is that when they looked at his betting pattern, the games he was betting on his own team.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that he's right in all that. If he was betting against his team, because he was a manager at that time, he was a manager for the Cincinnati Reds, his team. If he played for the Phillies, played for the Reds, but he's known for both. But he's known primarily for for what he did with the Reds and all the hits that he got. But he bet on his own team, and I'm not saying that was right. I'm just saying it's forgivable in my eyes.
Yeah,
you know, he wasn't tanking. If you're betting on your own team, what are you betting on? That they're gonna win.
Exactly.
I can forgive that.
And they still not going to put him. They still haven't put him in, enshrined him in the Hall of Fame.
And that's stupid.
That's being petty, dude.
That is being petty. By the way, you mentioned something about Vince Young.
Oh,
I had no idea about this. Okay, so Vince Young, arguably the one of the greatest players in
Longhorn
history. 2005, I believe, the NCAA national championship against USC.
Yeah.
Apparently he got knocked the F out. Can you tell me what went on?
Fuck out. Well, apparently what they were showing here, this video, he's just at a bar, bro. He's just at the bar, and then some altercation takes place.
Okay, so apparently, according to TMZ, this happened at a bar called Tokyo Joe's in Houston, and they obtained surveillance video about it all, and apparently he got knocked unconscious. So let's see if we have this video here. There it is right there.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. All right, VY wearing a black long sleeve shirt or sweater, wearing a cap at the bar. Things seem to be okay. A couple of guys are pointing at him.
They're having a little argument right now. It's just they're mouthing off.
Yeah, they're putting their finger on his chest. It does okay.
There you go.
Young pushes back a little bit. I mean, it doesn't look like much. It looks like a scrum in an NBA game, right?
Yeah. They're trying to break things up, trying not to let things get out of hand. But there's no security there. There's just a group of guys.
And Vince is being held back by a couple of people.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like a fair fight in the sense that he's being held back.
And there you go. There's the fight. It's breaking out now.
Huh. When does Vince get knocked out?
It's
right.
Crap. You just had to say it.
He was held up
Boom!
He had no way of defending himself.
He got sucker punched, bro.
He got sucker punched. Oh my God. He's being held, but both his arms are being held when he got sucker punched.
Yeah, and this brother just comes up, boom.
He wasn't even looking at him. What a punk. Oh my God.
I was like, damn, bro.
Again, this happened last month in Houston at Tokyo Joe's Shot Bar in Houston. Knocked unconscious. It was a sucker punch. Again, it all started by them exchanging words. Don't know what was being said, but I wonder if a guy got arrested or not. But where was the security?
Exactly. You didn't see him there. There was just the bunch of guys trying to break things up.
None of the bartenders.
Nobody
Nada,
jumped
right?
in. No, it was just people that were around the scene trying to help break things up, calm the situation down. No security, nothing.
Goodness, I hadn't seen that. I hadn't even heard of that story.
Yeah, I just saw it today as I was looking at TMZ for some of the P. Diddy news.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, Vince Young.
Hey, other news of the day, man. All the stuff that's going on in Baltimore, Maryland. The Francis Scott Key Bridge came down today.
Oh, God.
So there was a cargo ship, as you can see right
Looks like
there.
a barge almost.
Yeah, it's a cargo ship. I mean, those suckers are heavy. Apparently, they were announcing a Mayday as it crashed into the support beam of the bridge and knocked that sucker down. This happened around 1 a.m, Baltimore time. 7 cars plunged into the water. 2 people have been rescued, and right now there's an ongoing search for 6 people minimum in the water. And it's not looking good, not sounding good, because the water is 47 degrees. And the belief is you can only be in that water temperature
10 minutes, maybe
3 hours.
No, but I'm saying like your extremities, they start shutting down because of the cold.
Right. But they're saying that it's like the actual surviving, you might go and get unconscious at that point, but still be alive. A declaration of emergency was made out there by the governor of Maryland. The belief is that, and this has not been confirmed, but the belief is that the power might have gone out on that barge and they couldn't control it, and that's why they were screaming "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday" when they crashed into the bridge support beam.
Yeah, even if they try to put it in reverse at that point, it's a lot of ship to try to slow down. You know, it's going forward. It's going to hit something.
Jeremy Sochan last night, the star for the San Antonio Spurs. Again, last night, 26 points, 18 rebounds as the Spurs got their 16th win in a row. We talked about it a little bit with Carolina Teague earlier today. It's interesting what he's going to be as a career. And people will always give him crap, and people will always praise him. He's the most polarizing player right now when it comes to the Spurs. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to actually break through, because I think this is going to be the guy that he's going to be his entire career.
I don't know, man. I think he can actually. I think what he's understanding, a lot of these young players right now on this Spurs team are what they're understanding now. You have to play at such a high level to beat the best teams in the league, or teams that are better than you, for example. And the Suns, they're a better team than the Spurs. Spurs had to play at a very high level because they were without Wemby. Other players have to step up in order to win games. And I think that's something that they're starting to try to understand a little bit more. And that's something that Coach Pop can't just teach them. They have to go through it. And I think they're coming out of it, and they're understanding.
The Spurs had to play a relatively perfect game, man. They had
exactly. With the pieces that they have.
7 turnovers last night.
But I'm saying they have to do that because of the pieces that they have, the talent that is on this team. This is what they have to do every night to try to remain competitive, to give yourself a chance to win. They had a little luck with Jeremy hitting that 3 at the end, but I mean, sometimes that's what it comes down to.
But Jeremy kept him in the game.
He did.
He along with Devin Vassell had 26 points, so you have to give the flowers to that. But I'm looking at the stats, dude. He's not a shooter, and he's allowed to fire up 200-300 3-pointers per season, and I don't understand the logic in that. He's not a shooter. Remember when the season started, and it was like, ha, look how improved he is. He's shooting at 40%. And what did I say? He's going to revert back to the mean. Well, Michael, you're going to color your hair because he's going to be above the 36% that you said. You're moving the goalpost. So fine, make it 34%. What is he at right now? 30.
Yeah, I was going to say 30.
And by the end of the season, he'll be in the 20s.
Yeah, well,
because that's the trend line of his shooting. Because last night, did he make the game-winning three-point shot? Yeah, but he was 1 for 7.
How many?
He'd also missed 15 in a row leading up to that shot.
But how many three-pointers did the Spurs make last night? 8 of 31.
8 of 31. But why is Jeremy Sochan? Look, here's the last 4 games. 7 3-point attempts, made 1. 4, made 0. 4 attempts, made 0. 9, made 3. 2, made 0. Why is he allowed to hoist up 3-point shots when he's not a 3-point shooter? I don't understand that. Now, if you look at what he's been doing down low, his game down low in the blocks is getting a little bit better.
I'm telling you, that's his sweet spot in the paint.
Yeah, and he rolls the basket very well, and that is an instinctual thing because you don't really design a lot of plays where you roll and you rub off the bodies of a certain player.
He plays with his
defender.
back towards the basket, punishes the opposing player, and finds a way to score.
When he's in that mode, I'm very, very happy with. But he shouldn't be shooting 3-pointers.
No.
And the belief of because I had someone who came at me yesterday on Twitter saying, look at these stats between Draymond Green and Jeremy Sochan. Year 1 comparisons versus year 2 comparisons. And it's so wrong the way that they compare stats because a lot of people are telling me, Jimenez, look at this. He's averaging 11.7 points per game. That's more than last year. He's averaging 6.5 rebounds per game. That's more than last year. He's averaging 3 assists per game. That's more than last year. It's not. He's playing more minutes. The average per minute is identical to last year. And his shooting percentage has gone from 45.3% last year to 43.7% this year. He's a worse shooter this year than he is last year. And the belief is that a lot of Spurs fans have is that if he just gets more practice, more attempts, he's going to be a good shooter. And that is dumb.
I don't know about that. I mean, if you do something long enough, you're going to get better at it.
No, I see what you're saying. But the thing is that by the time you are 20, 21 years old, you're either a shooter or you're not. It's kind of like when they try to get him to become a point guard, right?
Yeah, that was Coach Pop smoking something, dude.
Okay. They tried to get him to be a point guard, and that was stupid. Why? Because he's not a point guard.
That was Coach Pop tanking.
I can see that. That might be it. But he's not a shooter. And everyone say, well, Draymond Green went from being a bad 3-point shooter or a bad shooter his first 2 seasons to being better his 3rd season. But the thing is that Draymond Green had good shooting percentages in college. He had good shooting percentages in high school. He just struggled his first 2 years. He went down and he came back up to the percentages that he was beforehand. Sochan has never had a good shooting season, college or pros. He deserves flowers for his efforts yesterday because it was beyond what he did offensively. It's what he did defensively.
Yeah.
Last play of the game, Durant missed a shot and Booker missed a prayer. And a lot of that was because of the defense of Devin Vassell and because of Jeremy Sochan. And someone had to step up when Wemby wasn't there. So he deserves flowers for that. But at the end of the day, I want to see what he does to end the season. At the end of the day, I want to see, can he become more consistent? Because we get games like he had against the Rockets where he was 9 of 14. We have games where he had against the Warriors where he had 20 points. But then we have these games where he plays against the Grizzlies and scores 6 points in 31 minutes. Where he plays against the Suns and scores just 7 points. Or he plays 42 minutes a week ago against the Nets. 42 minutes, 4 points.
He's got to make teams respect his jumper because you can see what happens. A lot of times they leave him wide open. They dare him to shoot the ball.
Yeah, Midtown saying LeBron's shot was broke when he came into the league. Sochan's not LeBron. LeBron is a phenom. Jeremy Sochan was the number 9 player in a weak draft.
But I'm saying, like, if he keeps practicing, dude, he can get better. And I think he is getting better.
No, he's not.
I think he is.
Defensively, he's getting better. Instinctively towards rebounding, he's getting better, but the shot's not there.
Well, we're going to see what happens next season and see
I mean,
what type of player he's going to develop into.
The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, but a lot of these things that you're saying about him too is it's what's being called upon him. Coach Pop and what they're doing, the coaching staff and how they're utilizing him. And the thing is, it's not just Jeremy; it's how they're utilizing all the players, including Wembanyama. Coach Pop still hasn't learned how to utilize him correctly.
Let me ask you this, okay? Well, because Pop is washed. We've talked about this. Pop doesn't know how to utilize him because Pop doesn't know what he's doing with Wemby. It's obvious. It's obvious.
The tallest guy on the court. Why haven't they told Wemby, look, you're the tallest dude out there on the court. It doesn't matter where you're at. You're going to get an open shot. Right. Take the fucking shot.
Get him the ball.
Give him the ball.
And if no one wants to give him the ball, you are not on the team.
How are they going to block him?
It's no different than Denver with Jokic. Jokic touches the ball every play offensively. Doesn't mean he's going to shoot it, but he needs to be part of every single play because he has the vision. He needs to have his touches, his shot attempts, but he also has the vision and the passing ability. That's the way they need to use him.
Can you imagine if they give Wemby the ball and they finally tell him, look, you're 20 foot out, 18 foot out, shoot the damn ball.
Yeah.
Who's going to block it?
Effective field goal percentage, lower than last year. And people were telling me earlier this season.
That's your favorite stat, bro.
Because it's true. That's
like the plus minus. I mean,
no, it's not the plus minus. It is actual your effectiveness shooting the ball. Plus minus is what is the team doing? Effective field goal shooting is what are you doing offensively?
I like John Williams' comment. Michael Jimenez go 1-on-1 with Jeremy.
What's that comment mean?
Oh God,
what's that comment mean?
It's because you come at him and you say all these things, but it's like if you went 1-on-1 with him, of course he'd destroy you. He'd destroy anybody.
He would destroy anybody.
Yeah,
he's an NBA player. That's a dumb comment, not a good comment. It's come at me, bro, or something harder. But no, effective field goal shooting is not plus minus. Plus minus is what other people are doing. I'd have a good plus minus if I was on the court with Jokic and Jamal Murray, right? If I was on the T-Wolves team, I'd have a decent plus minus, right? No, but your effective shooting percentage, what are you doing when the ball's in your hands and you shoot it? Do you make points or not?
Yeah, look at what D'Lo says.
D'Lo says, what I don't understand is how do you make it through so many levels of basketball to the top of the sport and that form never gets fixed or smoothed out? D'Lo, I have an answer for you when it comes to that. Athleticism. Sometimes you can get away with it with just straight athleticism. And we know that Jeremy Sochan is extremely athletic. We know that Jeremy can play some pretty decent defense from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the athleticism wins out. You could be so athletic that the skill doesn't necessarily have to be there. Look at Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook can't shoot for shit, but he's athletic. And because of that athleticism, he could affect so many different things on the court, whether it be defensively, passing the ball, rebounding. The athleticism gets you over.
Yeah, but what happens when it leaves you? That speed leaves you.
Right.
And his game is starting to decline a little bit because that speed and athleticism, it's undefeated with Father Time. It's catching up to him. And the thing is, he has one of the ugliest shots I've ever seen when he's trying to shoot from beyond the arc. Yeah. He doesn't have good form.
Now, let me ask you this. Sochan averaging 6 rebounds per game, playing 30 minutes per game. I mean, they say he's like Draymond.
Yeah.
He's like Robin. Well, Draymond and Robin get rebounds.
I don't, Jeremy, he probably is never going to be like that effective from beyond the arc, from beyond, shooting threes and whatnot. But if you can get him to embrace what he is, and that's a guy that can go ahead and you can carve out a nice career for yourself.
Yeah.
Inside the paint.
He could be that. He could be a good player for a very good team. And very good. We see that with Derek White. I mean, Derek White is having a remarkable career right now. If he was playing for the Spurs
Look
right
at
now,
the talent he's surrounded by.
Exactly. He can focus on what he does best and insert himself on that. He doesn't need to be the guy that shoots, but if they ask him,
he doesn't need to be everything.
Exactly. Yeah. and that's the island that Jeremy Sochan is in, is that they're asking him to do so much. and he's not capable of doing all that. But last night he got the game winner, but we can't hide from the fact that he had missed the last 15 3-point attempts before that.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that you can take away though from last night is that you're starting to see some of the younger players, Devin Vassell, for example, Jeremy Sochan, they're starting to show you that these are probably going to be your two best defenders out there on the court. Now, the problem is you got to go ahead and get the rest of the team or talent that can go ahead and help them. You know, you have Victor Wembanyama. When he's on the court, he makes the team better defensively. But again, it's a product of the talent that you're surrounded by. And that's unfortunately the dilemma that the Spurs are in. While they have some pieces that show, you know, little flashes here and there, the overall the team as a whole is lacking.
Yeah, the team is. Let me ask you this: as we're looking at highlights right now from Bally Sports and from the NBA last night's game, I've been impressed with the durability of Victor Wembanyama. And as much as we hated the fact that the Spurs were load managing him, not so much from the standpoint of him being kept out of games, but the minutes restriction that he had earlier in the season, I think it worked out well. And if you had told me before the season started that he'd be playing 68 to 70 games this year, I would have been happy. And that's what he's on track for. 63 games played so far this year. He'll probably play 7 or 8 more.
He's what, 2 games away before he can start
getting those
awards? Yeah.
Getting those awards and being considered for the All NBA team. So I think he has a legit chance of being a a third team All NBA, which I think would be a victory in itself.
Yeah, I think after this game, how many games are left?
There's 10 games left.
10, yeah.
And the Spurs have to go 4-6 to tie the worst record that they've ever had.
I don't think they give a damn about that. But let Vic get his 2 games in so he can get his awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year at that point. The analytics are there that he should be up there for DPOY. But, you know, as we're looking at last night's game, you know, the Spurs getting out to an early lead, playing pretty good defense, not turning over the ball, not turning it over at all. But I want to get to that game-winning shot. Let's get to that game-winning shot here of Jeremy Sochan as we get to, we have to watch
go through the commercial.
State Farm commercial. Damn you, YouTube. But he shot it in stride, man. I mean, he didn't hold back. He didn't hesitate. He didn't think about it. And that's probably the one thing that that is bad about his game is that when Sochan thinks, bad things happen. It's when he's doing things out of instinct that he gets things going. As we're showing highlights from the end of the game last night, Devin Booker making a layup to cut the lead to 2. The Spurs looked like they were going to give up that lead. In fact, they did give up that lead down the stretch. The Spurs were up 8 points midway through the fourth quarter. Suns come firing back, and you're watching this game thinking to yourself, here we go again. Spurs down 1. They didn't need the 3, but they got the 3 from Sochan. And the reaction from Victor Wembanyama. I did like the interviews that were done after the game that Jeremy Sochan had, talking about somebody in the stands that had a sign saying that they came all the way from Poland.
Yeah, that they flew so many miles.
Can you imagine that, going all the way over there and seeing him get the game-winning shot? Kevin Durant trying to shoot a 3-pointer with 10 seconds to go to win the game. Didn't happen. Booker had no shot. They swung it around. Booker again for a prayer for a 3. Surprised they didn't call a foul there. Not that there was, but surprised. But the Suns blow that game.
I thought that was going to go in. It looked good for a split second.
And the team rallied around Sochan and congratulated him.
Hard fought win, dude.
He gets his flowers today. But again, the Spurs go on to win that game. 16th win on the season. Spurs right now have the 3rd worst record in the NBA. Bottom 3 get the best odds of winning the NBA draft, which looks to be weaker and weaker by the day.
Yeah. Did you see that picture that Jeff Garcia had put out?
No, what's going on in Jeff's world?
So look at Jeff Garcia's ex, right?
Yeah.
And he put a picture out late last night, and it says, apparently, he says, folks from San Antonio Bromfels are seeing this in the sky tonight. And it was
the UFO
object. No, I don't think it was a UFO. I think what happened is that it was at SpaceX. You know, the rocket that was way up in the upper atmosphere there, and you could see it as far away as like Houston and some of the other Texas cities out here. So people are taking pictures and posting them and all that. But that's what it is. I think it's that rocket, either in the upper atmosphere or coming back on reentry. Yeah, and it looks weird. It looks like it's breaking the sound barrier, and like these waves are coming out of it. And it's just science, bro. It's not like it's moving in a weird direction or anything like that.
Yeah, I heard that if it flew through a hoop is what I heard it.
Yeah, I mean,
and now Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter or on X and also on Threads as well.
Yeah,
you have your content from Jeff Garcia, Ken's 5. You can subscribe to him on YouTube and on Spotify as well. He has an article about last night's game with post-game interviews from Jeremy Sochan. He does a fantastic job. And a story from last night about Johnny Moore having a basketball card from back in the 80s that sold for $16,000.
Hell of a card, man. For Johnny Moore, I mean, come on. we talked about this.
Apparently, there's a rarity that goes on with this. So, sometimes the cards are more valuable, not because it's the player, it's how rare it is, or if there's an issue with it.
Or you catch a glimpse of a player, like, for example, Michael Jordan, wearing not his iconic number, but another number that had to be worn that night.
Yeah.
Because his jersey got torn or something.
Yeah. Wasn't there a Mark Jackson basketball card back in the 90s that had the Menendez brothers?
Yeah, it does. I have that card. You see him sitting courtside, and I think that's right after they had finished doing what they did.
Yeah.
The murders and all that. I'm like, that's crazy, dude. Hey, but you know what? Let's go ahead and give Jeff some love while we're on the subject. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
People give me crap on Twitter right now because I posted right before the show started. So I hired a house cleaner a couple of months ago.
God.
She stops by weekly. The positives, does a fantastic job, reasonably priced, kind of cute. The negatives, she plays loud Tejano music all over the restroom and all over the kitchen when she's cleaning. And because I have the tile floors, it echoes, and I'm trying to work in the other room. People are reaching out, Midtown, saying, quote, I can't allocate these assets listening to Bobby Pulido. Turn it down. Matt Lerma calling me a coconut. A lot of people are referring to a Seinfeld episode.
Costanza.
I've seen like every Seinfeld episode.
Your name is Mike Costanza.
I typically watch 1 or 2 episodes a day of Seinfeld, even to this day.
Yeah.
I don't know which one they're talking about. So someone tell me what like episode it is.
Because Costanza's always getting in some shit, dude. And there's been a couple episodes where he's done some seedy things.
Yeah.
And he talks about it in the diner, of course, with Jerry and Elaine and Kramer and all them. And I believe in one of the episodes, I think he had done something with his housekeeper. And they're going over it, and he's kind of explaining what went down.
Bane reaches out and says, why are you checking out The Help?
Oh, God.
Because she's cute. What can I say?
Yeah, but we always give you shit because I'm like, Mike doesn't like Tejano. You know what was funny too at the party? Like I was telling you, there was some Tejano, there was some cumbias, and there was a grito or two happening in the backyard.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Leja, man, my boy.
Josh reaches out and says, a house cleaner, kind of cute. I think this is the start of one of those videos.
Oh,
well,
God.
if it's on Pornhub, you can't watch it in Texas because it's been banned.
You can't watch a lot. It's not just them that got banned. I'm hearing that there's more and more sites that are going to be going dark here because that rule is really affecting a lot of what these companies can show here in Texas. I mean, love it or hate it, but you know what happened? I was watching the news and they were saying, because this is happening, the searches for VPNs, virtual private networks, are going way up.
Yeah. There are ways around this if you want to get around it. Yesterday, the state of Florida passed a ban. It was signed by Governor Ron DeSantis, who had been running for the Republican nomination for president, but he lost out on that, backed out a couple of months ago. He signed a bill that's going to ban minors under the age of 14 from having social media accounts. Really? Really? My daughter is 11. I monitor her stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I monitor her stuff. She has a phone plan. She has a cell phone. Does she get on TikTok? Yes. Does she get on Instagram? Yes. But are there parental controls? Yes.
He must be getting paid or funded well by the conservatives.
Yeah. It's stupid, dude. You know, and it's funny because the quote unquote party of small government is the one that gets more intrusive into our lives more than any other one. And I hate the far right and I hate the far left. They're both stupid.
Well,
They're both stupid.
you see what happens as far as them not being able to come to terms, and then we're going to have another government shutdown. It's going to affect the nation, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? They have a whole midnight session, things
Well,
get done.
They have to. They have
Yeah.
to. And it's funny because I talk to people about, I deal with finance all the time. And there is this whole debate about 31 trillion in debt or whatever that number is. And people think that that's a bad thing. And the reason why the government doesn't care about it is because they know that it's not a bad thing. I'll give you an example. If I was to go on Credit Karma right now,
Yeah.
and call up my debt, it would say, I'll do it right now. I'm going to go to Credit Karma right now, and I'm going to get my debt. So I have the app, and they're not a sponsor, but just to kind of show you what it is, I have an app here. My credit score today is 791. All right, not bad. I'll take that. Now it says, how much debt do I have? It says I have $425,000 in debt.
It's a lot of coin.
But it's not.
Well, you got to include, like home, stuff like that.
Well,
see,
but that's it. How do you break down that debt? So I have $425,000 in debt. You go up to somebody and go, dude, would you want to be $425,000 in debt? No, you wouldn't want to. But if you look at the $425,000 in debt, 415 of it is real estate.
Exactly.
Which has a value of probably 600,000.
Yeah. I mean, especially in the area that we live in here, our home prices have gone up quite a bit. I know we both have a lot of equity in our homes.
I have a rental property that's probably worth 250, 260.
Yeah.
I owe 90 on. I have a primary residence that I owe about 300 on that I could probably get 450 for.
Yeah.
So, so that's the thing about debt, is that you have to ask yourself a question: is it good debt or is it bad debt? And if you were to tell somebody that they have 450,000 in debt, it's one of those things where you look at it and it goes, well, what kind is it? Should be the answer.
Yeah.
The reason why these politicians don't care is because the vast majority of the debt is actually good debt. And it's kind of hard to explain, but that's the truth about it all. That's why no one really gives a crap. Chris Gonzalez says, is Mike's maid J-Lo? And this is the start of the Made in Petrenko.
Made in Manhattan. Oh, God. I like this. Mario Cavazos. Mike hates barbacoa and menudo.
I do. And now here's the thing.
I really hate tamales too, dude.
Okay. I hate pork tamales.
Oh, come on, Mike.
But I like the other tamales. I like the chicken.
The bean.
I like the bean and cheese. There's the chicken with the green salsa ones. Those are pretty good.
What's wrong with the pork ones?
I don't like pork, at all.
Good.
Like pulled pork sandwiches, gross me out. There's something about the taste. I don't like it. Menudo, I've never liked. I remember trying it when I was little. The smell of it, the hominy and all that crap, gross. Barbacoa, it depends. I try not to have it, knowing what it actually is.
It's just carne.
Yeah, no. Some carne is more gross than others.
You want lengua?
Oh, that's even worse. No, but a lot of barbacoa out there, especially that you get like on a Saturday or Sunday morning, is very greasy. And whenever I pick up a taco and I see like a shit ton of grease just drip out of it, I can't eat it.
Just get all meat.
No, even the all meat drips.
Depends on where you get it from.
It does depend. But it just grosses me out, dude. It just grosses me out. So barbacoa doesn't really do it for me. But I like I'm a carne guisada guy. I like carne guisada. I like chilaquiles.
Hey, chilaquiles are good.
dude. That's my vibe.
What's our place down the street here? We go to eat lunch every once in a
Over
while.
at Sasson?
It's Sazon, man. They have good chilaquiles
They
there.
do, man. And I do appreciate a restaurant that has a chilaquile taco.
Oh yeah, those
Like
are good.
that didn't really exist for a while there, but
No.
now I'm going to places where they're actually having them in breakfast tacos, which is cool because you got the crispiness to go with it all.
Yeah. You don't? Do you like migas?
I don't think I've really tried.
The migas?
I don't think I've really tried.
It's good. I know you don't. I know damn well you ain't doing no wiener and egg, dude.
That's gross.
Oh, come
I had that
on,
growing up,
bro.
man. I had that growing up, but that's gross. That's gross. But having the wiener in a tortilla without the egg, just put some mustard on there, I can hang with that. It's basically a hot dog without a bun.
Look at Gilbert Padilla. He says migas. That's what I'm saying. Migas, man.
Tim
It's a
Gonzalez,
staple.
Mike hates pork now. By the way, I'm going to be one of the judges of the Mike Taylor barbecue cook-off next weekend.
Hopefully, we can share the graphic. They fixed it this time because they still had you as MJ Quartes.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm like, bro, come on, man. Hey, but it's cool though that you're going to be as we're going to have two of you guys representing us. Stephanie Mejia, also known as Chicana Fuerte, is going to be there judging, but she judges the specialty, and they gave you the chicken.
Well, what does the specialty mean?
That's the thing. It depends on how they're going to present this. I don't know if it's going to be the specialty from that particular, let's say, group. Like, are they going to put together a little plate that has a pairing of pork or chicken, or what is it that their specialties are? Is it like a little sampling that they give you? So you can say, okay, this is what they specialize in, and then compare. Hey, how does this taste compared to the other team's specialty plate?
Okay. I don't mind the chicken though.
Chicken is good, bro, especially if you make it right. Like, the way I barbecue chicken is I use real mesquite wood. And I mean, you can tell when you have a good smoked chicken.
Right.
Because when you reheat it, especially if you're in the office somewhere, everybody's, man, what is that smell? It smells so good. Because you can smell that mesquite in it.
That's what I want today, baby. I want some barbecue chicken today.
It's good,
just
man.
to prep myself for next week. Like I said, I'm going to be judging out there, so it's a dream come true because I get to eat and tell people my opinion on food.
Hey, man, they drink quite a bit over there, so you better watch your roll. I know how you get.
So where's this going to be?
Oh, dude, it's like
it benefits Salvation Army.
Yeah, I forgot. It's going to be at some field, and it's not that far away from where we're at right now. But I don't remember the exact location, but I just know it's like almost like a baseball diamond is near it. But it's just a field, dude, and it's just out in the open, no trees, and it's always hot as hell, dude.
It's from 10 to 4 next Saturday, April 6th. Mike Taylor's Barbecue Cook-Off. Again, he's doing that show with Rudy J.
Oh yeah,
in the building.
Yeah, in the building.
They do a fantastic job.
I might have to get me the VIP pass just to go out there and support you and support Chicana Fuerte. Take some pictures and videos, mingle with the peeps.
Let's take a look here. I'm taking a look at the Salvation Army.
I'm gonna go hang out with the Bermeyas. I hear the Bermeyas have a good spread out there.
This is gonna take place at the Salvation Army Peacock Boys and Girls Club, located at 615 Peacock Avenue, which is right next to Woodlawn Lake.
Yeah,
that's the Puro area. I like it. They also have people who can have sponsorships out there. Event sponsorship for 15 grand, club sponsor for 10 grand, 5 grand for an entertainment sponsor. You can sponsor shirts for 3 grand. You can have a booth if you have a business or whatnot for $500. I might be interested in that. Again, the barbecue plates are going for $10. Comes with a barbecue chicken quarter leg, a sausage link, rice and beans, all the fixings. And no, I'm not judging the sausage.
Come on, Mike.
Dude, sausage, I like sausage, but I don't love it. It depends on where it's from. Also depends on how greasy it is.
Kielbasa?
Always. By the way, I got a message today from the San Antonio Missions.
Oh, nice.
I was half asleep when I was reading it.
You're going to throw out the first pitch? I'm going to go.
Let's see what the Missions are saying here. The missions are coming at me right now saying, I asked them for tickets. I said, our listeners deserve free tickets.
Yeah.
And they said that they're open to a ticket giveaway on this show, that he's going to confirm it with the ticketing director to see how many we can get.
That'd be nice.
And that players could become available for the show.
That's nice. I'll pay for my ticket to go. I go and watch a couple missions games every year.
I do
it's
too.
Good times, dude.
And Jeremy Sneed, who's the missions PR director, is saying that he'd love to talk baseball with us.
Come on in, dude. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put in, like I said, to have us have some media credentials to cover some of the games out there.
So, last time I was at a missions game, I ran into Mayor Ron.
Oh, good people, man. Hey, man, I think he's more fit than Hefe, dude.
Dude, Mayor Ron he's
tank. Ripped, dude.
He is a tank.
You see those guns he has? Damn.
He's a rather intimidating presence for somebody who's 5'8".
Oh, he's good people though, man. He'll talk your ear off. Dude.
Oh,
he loves sports, man. He loves sports.
Chris Gonzalez says, if Mike throws out the first pitch, I'll go and just boo him.
We're gonna have the bet. Do you think he's gonna make it over the plate?
Dude, I would throw it over the catcher's head just to say I got it past the plate. Because I don't want to do like 50 Cent. You see when 50 Cent threw the first pitch out?
It was bad.
And the ball went like 12 feet. I can't do that, man.
Damn, look at this. DA Gaming High guys watching from Dubai. That is wild.
From the future.
Damn. I mean, we got listeners. It just throws me for a loop, man. Like, we got people listening to us from all over the world.
Now, Garrett says, can they give away airplane tickets for international fans? LOL. You know, Garrett, here's the thing, man. I've been to Europe one time before, right? And I've been to the Netherlands. Boodles in Paris.
Oh, God.
When it gets announced that the Spurs are going to be playing in Paris next year, which is all signs are pointing to that taking place. And all signs are pointing that, I don't know how or why, but they say it's going to be the Indiana Pacers that the Spurs are playing out there.
2 games I think they're going to be playing in Paris.
I want to go.
Boodles in Paris, bro.
And Garrett, I'll meet up with you, baby.
Can we wear knockoff Louis Vuitton? Buy them at the pool, guy, and take it over there.
Boodles in Paris, man. I created that hashtag, by the way.
Boodles in Paris. Can you imagine if it was me, Spernandes, Christopher Leja? We'd be getting kicked out.
Leja would be the only guy wearing boots up and down the canals.
Oh, God, man.
Come on, Leja. You gotta
be stacking cups.
Me and Leja and Spernandes wearing capris.
Oh,
like
Lord,
Rafael
man.
Nadal back in the day.
We'll be stacking cups. Everybody's going to be looking at us like, what the hell? Asking for chicken on a stick.
Garrett says, I'd love to go to Paris. LOL. How far is Paris from you? Because I've gone from Paris to the Netherlands. And last I remember, I was on a train for like an hour. It wasn't even that far. Everything's like an hour away, man. You know, in Europe, you could go 30 minutes and be in 3 different countries. It's crazy.
Boodles in Paris. Go see the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, how romantic. How romantic.
That'd be crazy, man. I can't even imagine going out there doing that.
Well, I'll be a single man by the time that comes around.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
If you go out there, I mean, the European women are beautiful.
Yeah, but just make sure they have their pits shaved.
Oh, come on.
Because I can't deal with it if they're, a little hairy down there.
What if they're a nugget? They look fine until they pick up their arm.
What if it's Dua Lipa with armpit hair? That's a good question.
There you go.
I'd look the other way.
Turn off the lights.
I just stare at her face or turn her around. One of the two things.
You're gonna braid her a pit hair.
Dude, I've done that before, man.
God.
I remember being in Europe and some of the people smell.
Oh, come on, man.
It wasn't in the Netherlands. They were fine. People in Belgium were fine. But the people in France smelled like they don't use deodorant.
They probably don't. It's probably an American thing, dude.
Okay, my degree and my speed stick going to be confiscated. What the hell is this? What is this contraband?
Oh, God, dude. I saw this commercial the other day. I was watching TV with the wife. And this lady comes out and she made this deodorant, right? And she's like, it works everywhere. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
Chris Gonzalez saying Poodles in Paris. It sounds like a Netflix special.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Poodle in Paris.
That's funny.
They ain't ready for us, man. If we go out there representing the raza, can you imagine if we took a whole bunch of us from Marbach and Paris to go see this game? Oh, Puro Exit 7 in Paris, dude. Forget it, dude.
The Eiffel Tower, 1,083 feet tall. I've been to the top. I've been to the top one time before. It was good. I mean, it was mesmerizing up there. It's a hell of a city. You go to the Eiffel Tower and you oversee. Oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this. You oversee this beautiful river, and you oversee this cosmopolitan city. And then you go to the Tower of Americas. What do you overlook?
Jeez, Mike. Always shitting on the city, man. You look at the beautiful scenic San Antonio skyline, man. What are you saying, Mike?
Is that the Frost Bank Center out in the distance?
Jeez, bro. They're gonna come cookie, bro, and you deserve that one. Always shitting on the city. What do you see when you go to the Tower of Americas?
What do you see? You see railroad tracks. You see, I mean, you see the Alamo Dome.
You don't want to go to the tower?
Huh?
You don't want to go to the tower?
The Tower of Americas, I don't mind it. I don't like the elevator. It freaks me out.
Because it always gets stuck. Always.
I'll go from time to time to the Tower of Americas, and I'll go to that restaurant, which is a glorified Jim's up there, right? It used to be Jim's.
Oh, God.
It used to be Jim's. Now is it Landry's? It's Landry's now, but it used to be Jim's. I'm telling you, it is. Go up there to spend, $80 a plate, spinning around a little bit at a time. It was all right.
Look, is France even bigger than Texas?
Probably not. Look that up. France's population is, well, they got more people. France's population is 68 million. But size-wise, we're probably bigger. San Antonio Texas has 29 million people as of 2020. Probably 30 million by now.
Jeez, that's a lot of people, man. I can't believe that, dude. You hate everything puro San Antonio, bro. You don't like Fiesta. You don't like Mexican
I'm going to
food.
go to Fiesta this year. I'm going to make it a
Which one?
Well,
what event?
Not going to be Taste of the North Side, man. I don't have.
You're not going to go to the parade, the night parade?
The night parade's fine.
What happened with the day parade?
Day parade, dude. I was in the day parade. I was in the Battle of Flowers parade growing up. I was in it because I was in the marching band at Holmes. It was in the 90s. It was like probably 95, 96
Oh, that's
degrees.
when it was hot as shit, dude.
And I'm wearing this polyester suit. And I survived it. But I just remember just like marching and seeing my classmates all fall. Like every block, one would fall.
Bro. It was so hot. They would have it on days or the time of year where it was just too stinking hot, dude. The humidity, I can only imagine the heat, the humidity mixed with that heavy polyester suit you had to wear. I feel bad for those kids when I see them walking around. It's too hot, dude.
You know what we need to do is we need to have a special for the eclipse next week.
Well, it's going to be on a Monday. I'm going to be working, dude. It's like an eclipse. I've already seen plenty of eclipses. I'm just like,
I know they were saying that Jupiter will be on one side of it. There's going to be some sort of comet next to it.
Fuck if I know, dude.
It's going to be dark during the day.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through it before. It's like, you have to be in the path of totality. I'm like, the fucking thing lasts like 10 minutes, dude. Why am I going to take off from work? Everybody's all, you're not taking off from work for the eclipse? I'm like, fuck no. Why? I can come out during my break. I have my solar eclipse glasses. All right, I saw it. I'm good. You know?
Okay. According to MSN.com, the eclipse will be in the San Antonio area between 12:14 and 2:55 p.m. And it'll go completely dark at 1:33 to 1:34 for 2 minutes.
That's probably where I'm going to go take my break. Come out, put my sunglasses on, my solar glasses, my eclipse glasses. Look at it. All right, I saw it. Maybe take a picture.
Mario Cavazos asking us to sing Total Eclipse of a Heart.
Oh, God. We should have Brandon play that if we were watching it here.
Yeah.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That's funny.
God, man. I'm not taking off for that freaking eclipse, dude.
I have family from California that's coming to Texas to watch it. They're going to be in Fredericksburg.
It's an eclipse, bro. It's not like everybody treats it like this is the last eclipse I'm ever going to see in my lifetime.
Man, we lived through Y2K. We lived through the 2012 Mayan calendar.
I mean, we waited through the freaking COVID and all that stuff. I mean, wild times, bro.
Very nice. So, man, well, we should end things hour and a half in. Hey, by the way, we got to update that goal because we're no longer at 758. We're now at 760.
Damn.
Marching away to 1,000, baby.
Yeah, I got to start getting on the ball here too. I'm hoping this week, once I catch up with our episodes here, I'm going to go ahead and take some pictures and stuff of what we're going to give away and see if we can't get that number closer to 800.
We have a couple of Android pads to give away.
Once we start hitting that 850, 900, I think that's when we start toying with those.
Yeah. Got mission tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe some events involving the Spurs.
True that. And also
at the games and outside of the games.
Yeah. And another thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to wind up making a trip over to the Spurs fan shop. And I'm going to go and buy some gear. And I'm also probably going to buy a couple of $100 Visa gift cards to give away.
Very nice.
You know?
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Carolina Teague, thank you for being on with us today. Again, she's on Twitter at CT the Mike Slayer. Don't forget to follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 at Jeff G Spurs Zone. I'm on Twitter at MJ Acquire Taste. Joe is at Two Shots Podcast. We'll be having Rudy Campos Jr. having a show today.
Yeah, I think Rudy Campos is going to be having a show today. It starts at 4, goes from 4 to about 5:30. Go ahead and check that out here on the YouTube channel, the Alamo City Podcast Network YouTube channel. Support Rudy and make sure you engage with them, man. They have a lot of good stuff coming out there from Rudy, Rocky, Gio, Derek. You know, all those guys know their stuff. So come out and support Rudy, 4 o'clock on this channel.
Very nice. We'll be back tomorrow. This is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. And this was the Alamo City Sportscast.
See you all.